Stop chasing. Stop affirming from desperation. Stop visualizing like your life depends on it. Because what you truly desire is not something you earn by effort. It's something you embody. Neville Goddard said, "You are already that which you want to be." But you read that, and your mind rebels. How can I already be rich when my bank account is empty? How can I already be loved when I feel so alone? How can I be successful when everything is falling apart? This is where most people get stuck. They believe that reality must change first, and then they will believe. But manifestation never works that way. Reality doesn't follow your wishes. Reality follows your state. Think of life as a mirror. If you wait for the mirror to reflect something new before you shift how you feel inside, you will be waiting forever. Because the mirror has no power of its own. It simply reflects who you are. And who you are is not defined by what you want. It's defined by what you consistently feel. This is the hidden law Neville Goddard taught. The subconscious does not care about your goals, your affirmations, or your vision board. It only responds to the emotional signature you carry. If you are constantly wanting, you are declaring to your subconscious, "I do not yet have." And the subconscious, pure, obedient, exact, simply reflects that belief over and over and over. That's why you see cycles. That's why things almost work, but not quite. That's why manifestation feels like a game where the finish line keeps moving. Because deep down, you're not living as the person who has. You're living as the person who wants. And wanting is lack dressed in desire's clothing. You can repeat affirmations all day, but if they carry the energy of "I hope this works," you're still in the state of lack. You can visualize until your mind is exhausted. But if you keep checking reality for signs, you've never really shifted states. Neville taught that there is only one true creative act: to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not to wish, not to hope, but to assume. An assumption means you no longer look to the world for confirmation. You live, breathe, and move as if the world has already conformed. It is not your effort that brings the change. It is your identity. And identity is forged in the silence of your inner world, not the noise of your outer hustle. So pause, breathe, ask yourself, not what do I want, but who am I being? Because until you change that answer, your reality will never change the question. You wake up, and the first thing you check is your phone. Your mind scans for evidence, money, messages, signs. You scroll through your bank account. You look for that one text that might mean something is shifting, but nothing. And suddenly your heart sinks. You think, maybe it's not working, maybe I'm doing it wrong. This is the trap. The very act of checking proves you're not living from the end. You're living in lack. You're still tethered to the illusion that reality has to give you permission before you feel different. That's not manifestation. That's spiritual bargaining. Neville Goddard didn't teach us to wait for proof. He taught us to become the proof. He said, "The world is yourself pushed out." It means everything out there, your finances, your relationships, your opportunities, is nothing more than a perfect mirror of your inner state. But here's the subtle danger. Even when people know this, they still try to force change by doing more. More affirmations, more techniques, more effort. They think if they just do enough, the mirror will change. But you can't scream at a mirror and expect a new reflection. You can't stare at it with desperation and hope it smiles back. You must become the version of yourself you wish to see. And here's the paradox. You must do it without needing anything to change. Why? Because needing is rooted in the assumption that you don't yet have. And the subconscious listens only to assumptions, not words. If deep inside you feel poor, unloved, unwanted, the world must echo that. Not because it's cruel, but because it's obedient. This is why Neville placed so much emphasis on state. Not thoughts, not wishes, not effort. State. Your state is the emotional atmosphere you live in, day after day. It's not what you say when you're trying to manifest. It's who you are when no one's watching. That silent mood you carry. That background feeling when you're walking alone. And unless that changes, nothing else will. So pause again. Ask yourself, what state am I embodying right now? Not what I want to feel. What am I actually feeling? Be honest. Because your honesty is the beginning of power. If there is doubt, acknowledge it. If there is fear, feel it without shame. Because once you become aware of your true state, you are no longer its prisoner. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Not action. Not control. Awareness. Because only when you truly see the old state can you collapse it. And only when you stop being the person who waits, can you start being the person who already is. Close your eyes. Just for a moment. Imagine Whatever you've been trying so hard to manifest, it's already yours. Not coming. Not almost. Already. Done. Finished. Now feel the shift. It's subtle but undeniable. That soft relief in your chest. That gentle exhale. That inner yes. That is the moment you collapse the old state. Neville Goddard called this assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not about pretending. It's not about delusion. It's about alignment. It's about stepping into the vibrational frequency of already having. The old version of you, the one who doubts, who waits, who begs, cannot come with you. That self is tied to the state of separation, the state of longing, the state of not yet. And as long as you remain emotionally loyal to that version of yourself, you will continue to manifest circumstances that reinforce it. Let me be clear. You are not becoming someone else. You are returning to the most powerful truth that Neville repeated again and again. I am. Those two words are the beginning and the end of creation. Not I want to be. Not I hope I become. Just I am. When you say I am wealthy and feel it. When you say I am loved and relax into it. When you say I am whole and mean it, your subconscious accepts this as reality. And once accepted, the world must conform. But here's the catch. You can't force the feeling. You must let it rise naturally. You don't chase the emotion. You allow it. You step into it the way you step into warm sunlight, not because you made the sun rise, but because you turned your face toward it. This is why the shift is instant. Not because the outer world changes in a flash, but because you do. And when you change, the mirror has no choice but to follow. You see, manifestation is not something you make happen. It's something you let happen by becoming the person who already has it. That's the only real doing involved being. So stay in this state. Don't let the mind pull you back into doubt. Doubt belongs to the old version of you, the one who is still waiting. And you've outgrown that version now. This is the power of assumption. This is the law in motion. And this is how worlds are born. You don't wait for the dream to happen. You live as if it already has. This is the heart of Neville Goddard's teaching, live from the end, not toward it. Most people try to manifest from a place of hope. I hope I get the job. I hope this person loves me. I hope the money comes. But hope is a subtle confession of lack. It whispers, it's not here yet. And the state of not here is exactly what the subconscious continues to reflect. Neville was never vague about this. He said, you must dare to assume you are what you want to be and continue therein. That word, continue, is everything. It means you don't just visit the feeling of your desire fulfilled. You dwell in it. You think from it. You respond from it. You make decisions not as the person who is trying to change, but as the one who already has. Ask yourself, if I were already the version of me that has the thing I want, would I be checking my phone every 5 minutes? Would I still feel anxious every time I open my bank app? Would I need validation from others to feel secure? No. That version of you doesn't search for signs. They embody the sign. This is not about faking confidence. This is not about acting as if in a shallow, performative way. This is deep inner embodiment. It is a silent knowing, a vibration of completion. It is walking through the world with the invisible crown already on your head. You no longer ask, when will it come? Because the question itself implies it's still outside of you. Instead, it is done. And my only job now is to remain in the feeling of done. And yes, it will feel strange at first. Your senses may scream, nothing has changed. But your senses are the servants, not the master. Neville reminded us, disregard appearances, conditions. In fact, disregard all evidence of your senses that deny the fulfillment of your desire. Why? Because the physical world is slow. It lags behind consciousness. It is only the outpicturing of your previous states. It is a delayed photograph of what you once believed. But now you've shifted. Now you've stepped into the new assumption. And your only task is to persist in that assumption. Let every word you speak reflect your new self. Let every choice you make arise from your new identity. Let every thought you entertain reinforce the feeling of, this is already mine. This is what it means to live from the end. Not to chase the dream, but to move as if the dream was simply the next logical step in your story. Because in truth it is. You've shifted. You feel it. Something inside you is lighter, more certain. You're no longer hoping, you're knowing. But then, the world doesn't change. Not yet. You wake up, and your reality still looks the same. The money isn't in the bank. The phone is still silent. The body still aches. And doubt, like a thief in the night, tries to sneak back in. This is the moment that separates those who understand the law from those who abandon it. Neville Goddard warned us, your outer world is nothing more than a delayed reflection of your inner assumptions. Just like light from a distant star, what you see is old. What's appearing now in your life is the afterglow of a state you no longer live in. But most people don't wait long enough for the new reflection to arrive. They assume nothing's happening, so they fall back into their old state. They dig up the seed because they don't see the plant. They question the process because the mirror hasn't turned yet. But manifestation is not instant, it is inevitable. Once the inner state is changed and sustained, reality must conform. Not might, not hopefully, not if the universe is in a good mood. It must. So here is your test. Can you hold the state even when there is no evidence? Can you stay loyal to your inner world, even when your senses betray you? Can you refuse to be seduced by delay? Neville said, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. That means standing in the midst of lack and feeling abundance. It means hearing silence and still knowing love is present. It means walking through uncertainty with the posture of one who has already received. And when the world finally shifts, because it will, you will not be surprised, because you were already living there before it arrived. Now listen closely. This is more than mindset. This is a spiritual discipline, a sacred vow between you and the divine intelligence that you are. Neville taught that God and your imagination are one. You are not calling to a distant deity. You are awakening the I am within. That still, eternal presence that creates by assumption and lives by feeling. And when you remain in that state, you are not just manifesting desires. You are reclaiming your birthright as a conscious creator. So don't flinch. Don't look back. Don't entertain the lie of not yet. You are no longer the one who waits. You are the one who is. And now, I call on you, not just to believe this, but to live it. Let your words be sacred. Let your state be sovereign. Let your every breath say one truth. It is done. Right now, close your eyes. Breathe deep into your center. And speak these words, not to the world, not to the universe, but to yourself, to the God within. I am. I have. I know. I trust. Let this be your final shift, your holy return. And from this moment forward, walk not by sight, but by the knowing that your reality is already becoming what you've dared to assume. Stay in the state. The world is catching up.